Welcome to another edition of the Dental Today podcast. Thank you for stopping by. This is brought to you by Lab Media TV. My name is Hezekiah Morales, and here we go. Remember to follow us on social media at Lab Media TV.
In today's episode, we will be speaking with Mr. Alexander Wunsche, president of Zahntechnique Dental Laboratory. Alexander completed a 4-year multidisciplinary program at the Otto Umfried School of Dental Technology and also attained accreditation as a CDT in Germany. He is also accredited as a CDT here in the United States. After graduation, he traveled and began working with high-end laboratories focused on implant and all ceramic restorations. Today, Alexander fabricates a wide variety of case types and also specializes in cosmetic and complex implant restorations. He has been published in dental journals such as Compendium, Inside Dental Technology, the Journal of Dental Technology, and Dental Management Today. Alexander speaks internationally regarding innovation in dental technology. He is also the president of the Florida Dental Laboratory Association.
Just going back to the conversation on how so many things have changed right now in the last 3 months. We were in Chicago, we were hugging, we were having a great time, shaking everyone's hand. It was a phenomenal time. Now, with this C-19 situation, everything has changed. Regardless of what industry you're in, regardless of what type of business you do, everything has changed. How has this changed for Zahntechnique?
Tremendously. I start from the back. We're happy to be back in business. We're happy to actually be busy. Okay, so that's kind of, I'm taking the finale right now already up front. But, there's a big but. When the whole pandemic started and we didn't know what's going on. It started when we were in Chicago already. We were talking about COVID-19 and everybody kind of, oh my God, I don't know. We didn't really pay attention to that because also it was not really guided from the government what's going on at that back then because nobody knew. So we all flew home, right? And literally a few weeks later, we were in lockdown. So for us, that was kind of, I mean, it never happened to me before to be in a lockdown. I don't know anybody who experienced that. For Zahntechnique, it was definitely a totally new experience like for everybody. We were in lockdown. We were super busy. I was away for a few days in Chicago, so work were piling up. My team was working. So that basically took advantage of to be able to actually work as long as possible. So we didn't get anything new in, but we could work on big cases. We could actually finish work over multiple weeks before we then also were forced to furlough the team. So we tried to expand that time as much as possible, just also to be fair to our team members, to our employees, because we're like a family here, you know. We're not just like, don't come and get a paycheck and go home. We're living with them in our minds, and we want to support them, we want to help them. So everybody was concerned, nobody knew what's going on, and we said, listen, we're gonna work as long as possible we can do, basically. So that's what we did. We just worked. We worked cases down, what we can do, basically, and then at some point the day came where we had to basically stop. And then we said, okay, now we have to furlough the team. We tried to help everybody to get unemployment and everybody to get into the right position, basically, which was a huge challenge in Florida because Florida's unemployment system was literally not existent. I mean, yes, in TV, but in reality, not. Everybody knows about that. And so we're all going into unemployment. Danielle and me, we were working here, so we were still in the laboratory to be able to do emergencies. We had here and there some emergencies coming in from doctors. They had seeing a patient with a broken denture, for example, or so. So we tackled that basically. But then we went straight into PPE. So we fabricated face shields. We experimented with different things, basically, what we can help our healthcare workers, basically, they're on the front lines. Because everything was running out, you know. So we have a printer here, we have softwares here, we can help. And so we were really happy to be able to do that, to actually fabricate this stuff. And we were sending it out first for free to hospitals, to healthcare workers, to friends, their nurses, etc., etc. They call and say, hey, we're going crazy here. We have nothing. We have COVID patients. We have a lot of friends in Philadelphia, New York up there. At that time, it was just crazy. So we tried to help as good as possible. At some point, we also saw, wow, there's a demand for also private citizens to get face shields, to be secure, to be safe, basically. So then we also said, well, we have to keep the lights on as well. So we then started also selling PPE to the public, basically, and that worked also very nice. I mean, you don't really keep the lights on with some face shields, but it helped, and a little bit helps. Yeah. So we were, I think, the best thing on the whole thing doing this was keeping our minds busy and not going crazy. So we worked, basically, we were every day here, Danielle and me, and worked just on PPE to keep ourselves busy, to also feel to be needed and feel the laboratory is still running. And that was very, very helpful to go through that process. In the same time, of course, PPE, it doesn't fulfill a full day work. So in the same time, we're working on new strategies for the company, working on marketing for the company, for that day when we basically reopen, for the day when our customers are able to see patients again. We had really exciting ideas over the last years. We were writing things down in our little marketing folder, what we would like to do, what we would like to go with the company to, where we want to see the company next years. So we're working on this due to COVID a lot, just to be able to actually really start full slope, very powerful when we're all back. And so that kind of was very helpful to work through that time, to develop strategies, also internal production strategies. So now was the time to go back. Why did we have these remakes on these cases? Okay, let's tackle that. What did we do wrong? So start on your own. What did not work out over the last years? How can we change it? What do we have to do to change it? So these things were also working very nice throughout that time, just to develop these new things for us, these strategies and concepts for the business. And we actually developed over the time a few new products for us, what we now actually offering to our customers, which is very exciting. And so that was very, very helpful to do that. So that definitely good. Tackling the financial situation was not as much fun, you can imagine. Yes, we got some help from the government, of course, with the PPP, for example, but everything came very late. So at some point we got support with the PPE, or we got kind of the approval, and then we also were running into the time where we now seeing doctors opening the office again. So we were starting working again, we started seeing cases coming in. So then we start, okay, how do we do the reopening? Are we getting the whole team back? Are we doing it kind of team member by team member? So how do we kind of build this up? And like I already mentioned, we are like a family. We're a small team. We're basically a team of 8, 9, 10 technicians. I would not like to make the decision who has to stay home still and who's coming back. It's not fair. I understand when you have a laboratory with 100 technicians, it's different. You have to think different. In a small team, I said, all right, let's just see what's going on. We made a lot of phone calls with our customers. So then we got the team back basically all at once. So everybody back, and with the PPE, that allowed us to actually, for the first 2 weeks, we're getting cases in. We're kind of busier than before, but what we were concentrating on then actually was fulfilling our plans Danielle and me made throughout the lockdown. What means, with lockdown, I mean, we were not locked down here, but I mean with having no business basically. So we actually sat down with the team, and I mentioned to the team, listen guys, we are opening again, we're getting cases in, we are a startup. Yes, we were founded in 1970, forget about that. We have to work like a startup company because we're starting from zero. We got some loans from the government, we got a PPP, but now it's time to actually tackle these things we made wrong before and we didn't have time to tackle it. Now we can actually start from zero. So we're working like a startup company, and that's what we did, literally. So we were sitting down for the first 2 weeks. We were going through production processes with the whole team. So every day we dedicated a certain amount of time, 2 to 3 hours every single day, besides our cases to work on. We were sitting in the conference room, which is behind me, and we're literally going through production steps, SOPs. So that's kind of what we did. We tackled that project. Fortunately, after 2 weeks, we were so busy, we didn't have time for this anymore. So we still did not finish that project. That's still, but we will finish it over the next weeks. So we're still working on that. But we did a huge, I would say we did most likely 80% of it in that first 2 weeks being back. And that was, I think, is one of the most important things as a laboratory owner to know we have now SOPs, because we didn't have that before. We didn't ever had that written down. And that's something very, very important to have, even if a small company. And so that's kind of what we tackled basically.
Wow.
Then besides in the lockdown, when everybody was gone, I did a lot of webinars, I did a lot of Zoom meetings basically. I think we all zoomed out right now. I don't want to see a webinar. But yeah, I did a lot of webinars. We actually also very, very cool. What kept us super busy on a good side was we developed our Client Connect. Because we said, hey, our clients are at home. We are in the lab or at home basically. What are we doing? We want to be connected with them because we want to be in their mind when they're going back to work. So how do we do that? Well, let's just do a study club. Once a week, every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we do a 1 hour Client Connect webinar. So the first webinar, I put out the topic I want to speak on. So we invited people, and we had always between 50 and 60 people attending, which is for our size amazing. And so we started the first one. I put the topic out. We did a 1 hour, amazing feedback. And then basically after the webinar, they got a survey, and with the request, please let us know what you would like to know. What topic would you like us to speak on or to serve you? And so we got a good feedback. So I had a week time to develop a new lecture, basically, a new webinar for them. It was very, very organic. It was amazing fun. Good feedback. I invited guest speakers, so I did one webinar together. We did a kind of cooperation with a very, very good friend of mine, with Dr. Zola Makrau in Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania. We do work together, and so we said, hey, let's do this together. Yeah. So he was in Philly up there in his house. I was here. We did the webinar together for our clients, which is really fantastic. So this stuff was fun, and that kept us busy. We did a dental laboratory conference with Peter Pizzi, Arian Deutsch, and Nandas with me together. So we did a 4-hour afternoon conference, basically, online, a Zoom conference. It was amazing fun. We had, I think, over 800 attendees to that. Yeah. It was awesome. It was really cool.
So the mindset, what I'm hearing from you, Alex, is the mindset is really what took you through, or is taking you through all this, because in all this you mentioned that although your business was getting slow, you were looking at other things to keep yourself busy, because it's not just keeping yourself busy for the sake of it, but it's keeping your business going, maybe not right now, but in a week, a month, 6 months from now, through marketing, the connection, and that's so powerful. So again, it's a mindset. And when it comes to the mindset, I am very inspired by dental professionals as yourself that have been able to find that sweet spot between the balance of having a business, successful business, a business of excellence, having a family, maintaining the relationships with the doctors, with the folk that your team members, and keeping all that fresh and growing. And in your case also, your sport, which you've been paddleboarding professionally for 2 years now.
I would say it's an amateur.
Competitive.
Competitive, yeah.
So how and where do you find that balance to be able to maintain excellence in all that you do?
Yeah. I'm a little bit extreme in my lifestyle, I think, in generally. So yes, I'm a fighter. That's one thing. So I'm basically a happy person. I always see the good in things. I always try to take out the good things out of every situation. Even if the situation is very bad, I try to say, all right, we'll learn out of that and turn it around good. So that's kind of, I think, the mindset I am kind of period in generally speaking. In dental, the mindset is always, I think the mindset why what keeps me going is not delivering to our customers, which is the dentist. Not that I don't care for them. I have amazing relationship with them, friends for years. But my mindset is we're doing the work together for that patient. And that patient can be your mom, can be my grandma, can be my mom, my dad, my sister, my best friend. And that's how I see dental. Dental is such a niche industry, but the service you're doing for patients, not for our customers, dentists, for the patients, it's absolute amazing. What can be absolutely amazing. Let's correct that. So that's kind of my mindset, how I see things. I'm very passionate in that. I'm a smile. You can see a beautiful woman, and when she opens her mouth and the teeth are just not appropriate or they're just not nice, the whole beauty falls down, right? You can see an average person, and that person starts smiling with beautiful, natural-looking, beautiful teeth. That person looks beautiful. And I think that combination, if you get this in your mindset, that keeps you going. That keeps you going to do that job to a perfection, to your perfection. Perfection is relative. Yeah, taste is relative. On the other side, function not. There's either wrong or right. But taste, beauty, it's all relative. Yeah. So and I think that's kind of the deal where what keeps me going, always to the next step. To what can we do different now? I'm never satisfied with my own achievements. So if I finish a day, I drive home, I think, man, oh yeah, they say it looks good, but I would change next time this and this and this to make it even better. So you always want to go to the next level. And that combined with family, with sport, I need that work-life balance. I need to go out. I know many technicians, they do nothing else than their job. They're so passionate, they're phenomenal technicians, but they have nothing else, and they burned out after a while. That's, I think, is very, very close. Dentists and technicians are very close to be burned out throughout their career at some point. I tried not to be that. I was very close to be at some point with having the lab running, speaking. I was flying 80,000 miles a year just for speaking. And I was close to be that point, so I'm running into burnout. I have to make a heartbreak now. And I found basically myself back into my sport. I'm an extreme sport fanatic. So I used to be a competitive snowboarder in Germany. I did a lot of free riding and backcountry snowboarding in Germany, kind of hiking for hours, then going to cliff jumping and all this stuff. So I was very passionate in that. And then I was surfing, then here in the States, surfing a lot, and then paddleboarding and all this stuff. So the ocean is my home, my second home basically. I'm a waterman. I love to be in the ocean, or in the mountains in the snow, but the ocean is much more important for me. And that's kind of where I recharge my batteries. But I need that thrill. I need that kind of extreme, not just going for a nice paddle or for a nice surf. I need always the extreme. And that's kind of what definitely keeps me going, and also give me the balance between that sitting on a bench and working very detailed on a microscope to do something beautiful, aesthetic, creative for a patient. And then I need on the other end the more rough, to go out there going either backcountry snowboarding or go paddleboarding. I paddled last year from the Bahamas to Florida for 82 miles, for example, in 13 and a half hours. And something like this keeps me going, to train for that, to literally let everything fall what is with dental, to jump into another passion. And it doesn't take too much time off my job or off our company basically, but I need the balance for that. Plus, before we met for the interview today, I went for training at 7 o'clock in the morning for an hour on the water basically. So that's kind of what I need to really recharge and then go back then to this year. So that's kind of this balance what we have to do. On another note, in the middle is the family, right? I'm most like the luckiest guy in the world because I have a beautiful wife. She's amazing. She's 500 million times smarter than me. And she's leading the company together with me. So the work-life balance is a little bit easier for us because she's very passionate as well in the company, as me too. So it doesn't really bother if we spend also a Sunday maybe here to discuss certain things to get to the next level, or spending a dinner at home to talk about the company. But also there are limits, right? You have to also sometimes separate your family life from the business life. And I think we found a really good balance for that, because we look into our eyes and we know, all right, that's it, no business anymore. Let's talk ocean. Or she's into ancestry, let's talk ancestry. And I think the respect on both sides for both of our passion outside of our industry is very important, to have that respect. I'm not into ancestry, but I'm talking to her about that, and I'm amazingly stunned what she's achieving with that. She's almost like a professional. It's crazy, yeah, as well what she's figuring out about her family history basically. I'm very interested in that. I wouldn't do it for myself, but it's amazing to listen to that. I think also the respect for her, that she knows my husband, my best friend and my partner is listening and is doing, and she does the same with me. She would never say no if I would like to go to a paddleboard race. She's always with me. She's yelling at the beach, Alex, faster, faster. She's yelling, she's cheering for me. Even if there are 100 paddleboarders, they're faster than me. Even if it would be the last, she would cheer on the beach. And I think this combination keeps the family life going. That's very important. Then we have two boys that both live in Germany. They're 16 and 14 years old. They're amazing paddleboarders and surfers and snowboarders basically. They play both American football, so they're very, very athletic guys. We miss them like crazy, but we know they're coming back. They're coming to us in summer. They will be here for Easter. We will be over there for Christmas. So we see each other on a regular basis and do amazing fun things together besides the business. But also when they're here in summer, I cannot just be off for 6 weeks, right? So I'm here and they're here. And they're here with us every day. Wow. They get up at 5:30 with us. They drive to the library because I'm an early bird. I want to be here at 6:30. They're here with us. They're now in an age I can have them helping us. Yeah, my oldest son, he's doing his driver's license, so he will be maybe our courier driver for the summer. Yeah. You know, so these things. So we kind of engage them basically a lot. Yeah, they have their own projects they like to do basically. On the side, we are actually right now in process of founding a different company in extreme sport, in surfing and skateboarding. And it's just more a hobby. It's more a fun project for us and for the boys, basically. But it's fun, and that's kind of, I think, that entrepreneurship, extreme sport, and the dental passion family, that can be combined very well if it's also groomed very well.
If it's groomed very well,
yes.
It's very interesting that you used that word. We were in Chicago again, and we interviewed a few couples, and
yeah.
And I find that synergy, it's beautiful when it's there. And this has nothing to do with dental, but I do believe it's very important for us to groom ourselves in order for us to find a compatible partner. Because we would be having a very different conversation if that wouldn't be the case.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my partner is responsible for my success, or for our success actually, for the success of the company, for success in your hobbies. Yeah, I'm responsible for her success in ancestry because I support her wherever I can. She's responsible for my success that I could paddle from the Bahamas to Florida for 82 miles in basically one day. And so it's not me, it's us. And
Wow.
if you don't understand that, and I know it's not for it's not everybody's cup of tea. I totally respect that as well. For me, I know I would not be here without her. Impossible. I would not be able to do all this what I do without my partner, without my wife Danielle. So I think that's that respect and that knowledge and that kind of that the surrounding that's very important.
And it's interesting that you said that, and I'm paraphrasing here, the things that make her happy or fulfill her are your responsibility, and vice versa.
Yes.
And when I listen to that, I also hear the other side of the argument, and I know this is off of the dental, but it's very important because I do believe that, as you mentioned, if that wouldn't be existent, this wouldn't be existent.
Yes.
So I've heard on the other side of the argument said many times that I'm not responsible for my partner's happiness. They're responsible for their happiness, and then we get together and we're happy. But you said, I am responsible for, and I identify a lot more with that, because when we as the partner, whichever it is, we take responsibility on that, then we inspire each other.
That's the point, and I think that's how life should be. I cannot imagine having a life just by myself. There is no goal, but I have a goal with Danielle together to put this company in the next level, to go on the ocean, on the water, to the next level, to experience that. And I think for me, that's my personality, experiencing this with a loved one, it's much nicer than for yourself. I'm not responsible. Yeah, I am, but I'm not responsible for my own happiness. It's the team. It's always the team. Without the team, you are nothing. That's my philosophy. Yeah, without the team at Zahntechnique, not just me or Danielle, without everybody working in this company, we're nothing. We're nada, nothing at all. Because I would not be able to accomplish anything here without my team. Yeah, I can do cases, of course, but not the cases we're doing.
Synergy is not
The synergy, exactly. It's impossible. Without the team, with our relationship team to our clients, to our dentists, we would not be here. I could not imagine just being a vendor for a dentist, just doing 150 crowns a day, full contour zirconia crowns for one of the clinics or so. It would be horrible. I could not imagine to do that. It would not fulfill me. I would stop. I would just, no, I don't want to do that. I love to be on the phone, on FaceTime, on live meetings with my customers, with patients. That's what fulfills me. So, and that this team comes back. Now we do so many FaceTime meetings with customers all over the world, because I would say just half of our clients are local. The local is the South Florida market. The other half is everywhere, and we have meetings every day together. I'm on the phone, on FaceTime, on Skype, on Zoom, all these things. So even with patients, so many of my customers, they literally have the patient sitting in a chair, they take the iPhone, and hey, this is my technician, talk to him. And they're leaving the room. And I talk to the patient, and we have that one-on-one meeting. The patient sees me visually. The visual is very important. I see the patient, and I can ask questions I need to know for the case. I think that's very, very important to understand that. That comes back. You can transfer this to your private life, to your family. You can transfer to your hobbies. You can transfer to here. Same thing. Our team, our crew, where we go paddleboard racing together, where we train together. Without that crew, I would not be there. What I'm doing in paddleboarding, it would be impossible. Yes, you can train by yourself. I tried it over the pandemic. It was horrible. It was horrible. I was getting slow because I don't have anybody else to match myself. Yeah, so now we still keep social distancing. It was on a 14-foot paddleboard. You cannot hang together. It doesn't work. But you can train together. You can draft. You can match yourself. You can see, hey, this guy is faster now. I have to keep up. You can take your time. We have our coach who tells us, get your butt together, man. Come on, push it. And these are the things. It comes down to the team. Every individual sport, even if it's individual sport, is surrounded by a team, by support, right? The support, the team can be the wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the whatever, the family. The support can also be the coach, the team, the other friends who go with you, basically. So it always comes down to the team.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
And you are in Danielle's corner, and Danielle is in your corner.
Absolutely.
Because you're both a team.
Yes.
That's powerful.
Yes.
That's powerful. And so we talked about you not wanting to, I mean, hypothetically speaking, or just because we've been, let's call it, we've gotten an OD on Zoom, right? We've OD'd on Zoom for the
Yes.
past 3 months. Everyone's in front of their computer. Everyone's in a webinar, a conference call. But what else does Zahntechnique have in store? We're very excited to know.
To have in store.
Yeah, what do you have coming up?
So what we have coming up is, well, first of all, we want to get our ducks in a row again. That's, I think, the biggest goal for us, to make sure we're busy over the next decades. And so for this, we prepared some projects. I don't want to talk too close about this. Some really nice stuff what's coming out, what we're coming out with. We partnered with some good companies for also new projects. They're actually already launched. They're working on, they're putting it out there, which is fun. Zahntechnique we're trying to grow the company, but in limits. I think that's very important to understand. So again, the team, we're trying to grow the company year by year a little bit, to not losing the relationship to our customers, to be that connection point between the patient, the doctor, the high tech, the digital, the analog, the whole basically dental industry, to be that knot basically. That's where I see the company going more and more to be a very important player on first the American market, but then also internationally for high-end dentistry. That's our goal. Even if you would grow from now 10 people to 30 people, I don't want to lose that role. I don't want to lose that relationship with our customers. Right now, let's say we have roughly 100 customers. If I think about if you would have 250 customers, I still would like to know everybody of them. Just to have that relationship, to be able to really fulfill these cases, these more complex cases. There where I see Zahntechnique going more and more, and that's actually what keeps us rolling, is we're not concentrating on single individual crowns, we're concentrating on complex dentistry. And that's kind of, I think, what is the good advantage why we also are now sliding out of this pandemic in a good, busy way, because the single crown business, the bread and butter business, is a very, very hard and brutal competitive business with mega labs and small labs, and everybody's trying to kind of play there, right? Also, a lot of technicians, they unfortunately have to work in that business with their smaller labs even, and they cannot compete with the bigger labs. So we're trying to get ourselves more concentrated on complex dentistry, on implant dentistry, to be a well-known source for dentists for specific cases. Yeah, so that's kind of ideal. Just as an example, all on four, Pro Arch, all these different names for the same technique, for an immediate loaded, hybrid for full arch restoration. So we place implants and we help the dentist and load an immediate temporary on day of surgery. Phenomenal cases, farly overdone in the States. We're doing too many of these. There's so many patients, they should not get a restorations like this, in my mind. There's so many other restorative options. A patient would get something better. The problem is the knowledge about that is not there. So our dentists and technicians, a lot of them do not even know about these options, and they're afraid to tackle these options. So I see in the future more and more Zahntechnique being that source to help patients to get the best what they can get. Not necessarily the most expensive, because the best doesn't mean the most expensive. The best means for that specific patient the best customized restoration in their ability to clean it, to take it out, to put it in, for their lifestyle basically, and for their health status. Yeah, so that's the best restoration. That can be just a locator, that can be a removable bar retained restoration, that can be something more fancy and a telescope restoration, that can be screw retained. So there are many, many options, and we want to be more and more that well-known source for that specific restorative workflow. That's kind of where I see the company going straight up right now, because that's what we're getting in, and that's where we have success, and I see the company growing even more in that market.
If you had the opportunity to sit down with a dental technician today and a dental technician that owns a business, in these times, what would be your words of advice for them?
Wow, that's a tough question, man. Well, definitely get any education that person can get, and not just education in their specialty. As a ceramist, it doesn't make any sense just to go to ceramic lectures or ceramic courses. I mean, if you're a ceramist and you work for a while, or even a business owner, you work for a while in ceramic, you have to know your stuff. Otherwise, you did something wrong, right? No, go to a denture education, go to CAD/CAM education, go to learn model work properly. And then in combination with that, what I learned over my years back, go to dentist education. Go to education where dentists get educated. Go to conferences. Besides lab conferences, go to dentist conferences. Go to implantology meetings. Not just to network, which is very important, which is great. You have a source of hundreds of dentists in front of you can talk to, can offer you services. No, also to learn what they learn. To be able to be eye and eye with them. To have a smart conversation about dentistry. To not being just the lab guy. I hate that. I hate that terminology, lab guy or denture guy. When I go for a surgery case and we go to immediate loadings and have a new office, and then the assistant tells the doctor, "Hey doctor, the lab guy is here." So I'm Alex, by the way, and I'm a dental technician. So it's kind of the thing. I usually don't try to use the word lab in general. We are a laboratory. And I encourage every technician being, first of all, a dental technician, not a specialist, a dental technician, well sourced in everything, but also being not the lab guy, being a dental technician, and also communicate that, hey, I have so much knowledge about my job, what I'm doing. I can help you, doctor, getting better. You need me to shine. Without me, you cannot shine. You're maybe a CEREC doctor, which I personally would never go to. So that's, I think, is a message what I would give every technician. Education is key, but not just in your specialty. Do not even go there. No, educate yourself in everything else around dental. And then be a good source for knowledge for your customers, to be able to be eye on eye with them, not under them. That's very important. If a customer would treat me like, for example, I have these clinics that call for our fee schedule and then call for a case, and I say, well, can I talk to the doctor? And then the answer is, oh, the doctor doesn't speak to technicians. At that point, I say, well, then I don't actually work with you. Because if I cannot talk, well, you can talk to the assistant, she handles everything. Say, well, then we're not matching together. It doesn't work. Yeah, that's kind of a point where I then step back, say, all right, that's not going to be a match. Not every dentist can work with me, and that should not be arrogant at all. It's just there is not always a shoe who fits you, or with what fits you, right? So that's kind of how I treat the business. So there are amazing relationships that works, and there are just relationships that don't work. And you separate yourself. Say, hey, you know what? It was good, a try, but that's it. And I think that's also important to give that message, to not try to work with everybody and everything and right now, to go step by step, yeah, and capture that and kind of conquer basically the dental world step by step, not too fast.
Conquer, yeah, Alexander the Great, the Conqueror. Right, that's very appropriate. Alex, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
For being generous with your time, opening the doors of Zahntechnique, Danielle as well. She's doing some work right now in
Yes.
the back as well. It's been such a pleasure, and I hope to have you back on soon.
It was my pleasure. I would love to. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.